back to One Tourism World, a convergence point and the global hub for pioneers, entrepreneurs, and visionaries from the global tourism and hospitality sectors. We bring to you an exciting platform featuring distinguished leaders ready to share their groundbreaking ideas on cutting-edge topics that are revolutionizing the industry. Our experts come from a diverse field, including luxury hospitality, ecotourism, digital transformation, and much more. And they're all set ready to unravel the latest in industry developments. One Tourism World is a vibrant community that encourages collaboration and open dialogue to catalyze positive change within the tourism and hospitality sectors. Join us now on this journey of discovery as we continue here on our conference with innovation and growth, and let's shape the future of the industry together here at One Tourism World. Our next segment, we're happy to be joined today by two leaders in the yachting industry. Nicolas Lapp, he is the co-founder, chief technology officer for Sunroof Yachts, and also Artur Połoczański, he is the public relations director at Sunroof Yachts, and their topic today is zero emission sail into the future. And Nicolas and Artur are going to have a conversation, and we look forward to both of your remarks. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us here at One Tourism World.
Thank you. Hello.
Likewise. Thanks so much.
Let me hand the presentation off over to you, and we look forward to your remarks and your dialogue.
Right. Okay. So thanks so much for the introduction. Thanks for having us. We're very excited to take part in your event. Our topic today is about green yachting, about responsible yachting. But I think before we kick off, just a tiny bit of introduction on what Sunroof Yachts actually is. It's a company that started over 20 years ago, and I think we mainly, to put it very short, we specialize in building the world's most beautiful catamarans. That's what we do. That's what we specialize in. But today, that focus is also very much on making the yachting experience as clean as possible. So we build electric yachts, we build hybrid yachts, we build hydrogen yachts. We have a bunch of exciting brand ambassadors. Rafael Nadal owns a Sunroof. Formula One superstars such as Nico Rosberg or Fernando Alonso both owned Sunroof Yachts. So yeah, at this point, I think our reputation is for two things. It's on one hand, the luxury catamaran, the most beautiful catamaran in the world, but on the other hand, the cleanest catamaran possible. So we started out over 20 years ago by building catamarans. And I think we knew specifically that catamarans presented a number of advantages. And I think, there's a reason why we started building those. And Nicolas, can you tell us, I think one of the reasons is the energy efficiency. Is that correct?
Yes. 20 years ago, with my father, we started to build catamarans. My father once called me and say, okay, let's build some boat. And we didn't have too much experience in boating when I started, and my father didn't have as well. But we already wanted something pretty efficient, and we were looking a bit what was built and what was on the market. So my father said, yeah, I really like those Italian boats, motorboat and things like that. But then we come out, we say, okay, but we are coming from a very small city next to the mountain, very nature. We like to have big walk in the forest, and we say we can't have something burning so much fuel. And then we were looking about what other boats were built, and we find out that catamarans were pretty efficient. But the problem is that those catamarans were not really luxury. So we say, oh, that's maybe something we can do. We can maybe take the efficiency of the catamaran and make of those like plastic charter catamaran something a bit more luxury, more yachting, let's say. And that's how actually we started. And that's the reason why we took catamaran, because we already knew in the past that this was the best way to save fuel, thanks to the whole efficiency.
So it was very clear from the start that if you want to have an energy efficient boat, it has to be a catamaran. At least it was clear for Sunroof Yachts. So the point that we're at today, we have the most beautiful catamarans and the cleanest catamarans possible, but we like to emphasize the 360 approach to green yachting. Green yachting for us is not just about switching the engines to electric. Obviously, this is an important point, but there's so much more. And we really like to underscore the fact that we have a 360 view, a holistic approach to our yachts. That means that we took each and every aspect of our boats and we had a very good look at everything on board, below waterline and above. Yeah, and it starts, like I said, below waterline. You want to make sure that your bottom paint is non-toxic. Then you look at the propulsion, so you consider a hybrid, electric, sail. Then you want to make sure that the water management on board is as efficient as possible. Your batteries are crucial. You know, they're going to be responsible for how you store your energy, so you want them to be efficient and light. The air conditioning is one of the biggest energy consumers on board. You want to make sure that you have the best and most energy-saving air conditioning. And solar power. You know, solar power is, I think, an aspect that I think didn't have enough attention from the yachting industry. So we really took a very, very thorough look at what can be done with solar. And I think it's clear to us and to the company and to the whole industry that making boating greener is not about reinventing the wheel. It's about adding these layers of innovation. That I think this one time we got close to reinventing the wheel, and I think we did with this is what we've done with the solar panels. This is I think one of the most exciting things that you notice right away about Sunroofs. Can you tell us more about how we approached the solar power system on board Sunroofs?
Yes, actually, to come to the solar, I mean, all of the idea of Sunroof from the first year of having this company was always to be really much into the innovation. And thanks to as well our customer that were always pushing us to get something more and more. It started, I would say, 10 years ago when the first customers say, okay, I don't want to have the generator working during the night. I would like to have the air conditioning working on the battery. And we did it already 10 years ago. And then after doing one, then a second customer say, oh, that's a great idea. I want the same things. Then the battery evolution come up with bigger capacity, less weight. Then we say, okay, we have bigger capacity of battery, bigger and bigger. Our boats are sufficient for 24 hours without having any genset running. So what's the next? And one step was, of course, we can put electric engine because we have a lot of battery. But you know, the problem is that you have battery, you have electric engine, but you need still to produce your energy out of the genset. And then we say, no, that's something we need to change. And then, of course, you take the data sheet of the solar panel, and then you find out that, okay, if you want really to provide a lot of electricity, you can't just put, like, you know, on the bimini and on flat surfaces some solar panel, because that's not going to be enough. And then come out the idea of saying, okay, if that's the problem, let's find a solution. And we say, okay, the boat is pretty big. There is a lot of surfaces on the boat, but those surfaces that are not flat. So either we just make a design with flat surfaces, but that doesn't look too much sexy. So we say, let's try to make the solar panel the shape of the boat, and let's make them resistant. Let's make them very light. And that's how we end up purchasing some solar cells, putting them in our lab, putting some people there. I was myself there for a long time to try to test. and we find out the way how to build very thin solar panel, which is actually 1 millimeter or less than 1 millimeter thickness, less than 1.8 kilo per square meter. And actually we were able to integrate them in the hull, having them as strong as the hull with very high performance, and keeping the shape of the boat. And that's how we started the solar. And of course, showing that to the customer, then one customer say, yeah, I'm interested, then a second one, and as soon as you have 1-2 boat in the water, then you have plenty of customer interested into that. Today we have, I think, over 35 solar boat into the order book, and I think already 6 or 7 in the water.
And one important point, of having that we like to call it a solar skin is, I think, the aesthetic appeal is also very important. I think we're, one of our missions is also to make that that sustainable approach, to make it visually appealing to people. And well, Nicolas mentioned the big flat and rigid solar panels that are sometimes used in the industry. They're heavy and they're rigid and they're flat. They don't look good. And one of our goals, I think, was to make that green solution look appealing to as many customers as possible. We're going to move to propulsion right now, because we're that this is one of the essential things that we're the essential things on board. And I mentioned that we're building electric, hybrid, that we're also considering and building hydrogen. There's a number of trends right now in the industry. What do you think is going to be the dominant trend?
Yeah, so like Sunroof is building powerboat, sailing boat. Definitively, sailing boat are the most sustainable, because you can use the wind to move the boat, and that's something I want again to repeat, because I think that that's something that a lot of people just have not think about, or just like forgot. But I know that some cargo ship right now are coming back with some sails. So I think one path for the future is, of course, sailing. And the advantage when you sail and you have electric engine, you can create some energy through the electric engine. So that's an additional source of energy that you can provide for your daily use of the boat. But the electric engine as well does give a lot of advantage to the boat. First, of course, no emission. So it's very nice to be on the boat, not having fume, coming back on your cockpit, smelling bad. There is no vibration. So the boat, even if you're on a power boat, there is absolutely no noise, no vibration. So you have the feeling, and really that's a very strange feeling. You're moving on the engine on a power boat, but you have the feeling that you are sailing on the sail. So that's like a new sensation. I think it's maybe the same like when the first people were driving a Tesla or electric car, having no feeling of vibration and no feeling of thermic engine. So that's exactly the same you will feel on the boat, but even like multiplied by 10, because of obviously, like on a big power boat, the engine is very noisy and has a very big vibration. And the maintenance as well. Electric engine doesn't need so much maintenance. So I would say that the electric boat will last much longer. So it's as well very good for the environment. You have less services, less engine services. And that's something as well very positive for the future.
So yeah, I agree that the electric engines, they completely redefine the motor yacht experience. An electric motor yacht is with all the silence that you experience on board, and no fumes, no vibrations, nothing. It's just completely redefines the way you thought about motor yachting. But I remember that not so long ago, me and Nicolas took part in the COP28, and we had a speech on the main stage about the new green yachting solutions. I remember that Nicolas also mentioned that long term, I think we will also focus on making the sailing procedure easier, right? On facilitating the maneuvers, and that's also something quite exciting to come, to making sailing easier and more accessible to people.
Yes.
One of the things that that I mentioned as well is hydrogen. You know, we're also looking at the hydrogen, and I think the entire industry is at the moment. Can you tell us, Nicolas, where we are with hydrogen at the moment?
Yeah, so actually we are already building our first Sunroof 80 hydrogen. I mean, the path for the future is not like decided for all of the company. There is still different way to go. So of course we are trying. We can't say today that hydrogen is really the best choice, because this will depend as well about the supply of hydrogen and some other factor. But for sure, right now we are building one which will be full emission free. And it's a challenge. There is a lot of technology inside the boat. It's going to be ready. It's already under construction. It's going to be ready something at the end of the year. Yeah, it's very exciting, I would say. And like said Artur, I believe as well for the propulsion to have a new sail setup, because today the sailing, the mast, the boom are the same that we were having like 20 years ago and most probably 30 years ago, and there wasn't big evolution here. And I'm convinced that the automation of the sail and all of this system to make it easier will be as well one of the paths for the future. So actually at Sunroof, we are still testing, trying to find the best solution, but we are of course convinced that electric propulsion, battery, and then maybe hydrogen, maybe methanol will be one of the paths for the future boating.
So there's so many ways to to innovate, and I think Sunroof is very good at identifying the right trends and maybe coming up with new ones. I think setting trends. One of these solutions is the batteries that we're using. Like I said, there are a crucial element on board. You really want to make sure that your batteries are light and efficient. Can you tell us more about the batteries that we're using?
Yeah, one of the very exciting things is that the battery business is evaluating very fast, and there is a lot of innovation. And still, I believe that a lot of car manufacturer, truck manufacturers still believe the battery could be a solution. Of course, the battery that we have today are not yet, maybe in some case, enough powerful, enough light for this application. But at Sunroof, what we've done, we've already created the lightest battery that you can find on the boat. We already created a battery that is adapted to the boating and not only for the car. And we have done a lot of innovation on this part, and we are still continuing innovation in this field. We are, for example, working on the solid state battery for getting more safety on the boat. And I'm practically sure that in the next 5-10 years, the battery will really change a lot. And we are really, looking what are the next technology at Sunroof. Not later than 3 days ago, I spoke with one of the 3 biggest battery manufacturer in the world, and we are really enjoying exchanging about technology and how to make it better for the future.
And yeah, there's one very important domain in which we are also innovating, and it is super yachts. When we go to all these boating events and we look at all the big fuel guzzling monohulls that we see in the marinas, sometimes we try and imagine the emissions that they generate. And yeah, and for some mega yachts out there in the industry, the numbers are really they really highlight that there is an issue with emissions in the super yacht world. And I think our idea is to also, not only to redefine the yachting experience, but the super yacht experience as well. So the biggest boats out there, you know, our point is to prove that they can have a mast, they can have a sail, they can have electric engines, they can be covered in solar panels, they can have energy efficient air conditioning, they can have proper water management, waste management, and to combine all of this into like a package that offers you a clean super yacht experience. So can you tell us, Nicolas, where we stand, you know, on the green super yacht experience, and what is the boat that we're looking at right now?
Yeah, so this is the Sunroof 43 meter, fully eco. We have sold 2 of them. And like said Artur, the biggest challenge actually in the super yacht is to work with the rules and the people that are used to those big boats, and to make them change the way of thinking, the way of making the calculation, and the way of making the conception of those boats, because there is really a lot to do, but a lot of people are stuck with the old idea, with the consumption, for example, on the air conditioning, with the consumption of all of the equipment, safety equipment. And actually, on this boat, we were able to save approximately 60 to 70% on the consumption side. Plus, of course, it's a sailing boat. Of course, we have the hydro generation. We have a fully solar panel on the hull, on the deck, on the flybridge, on the superstructure. So this was really a challenge, because we needed really to convince and to explain and to get really into details with the ship class and the flag, to make accept some of the differences that we want to bring, and we are proud to have those 2 boats right now under construction. One hull is practically done, so they're gonna be delivered within the 2 next year. And the positive things is that we are talking with 3 other customers interested in the same project, so we can see that there is really a future in having eco-responsible super yacht as well.
That's right. Yes, we're looking. You know, I think we're optimistic, and I think we love to showcase our yachts at in all the world's biggest super yacht hubs, where you've got all the super yacht customers that are used to the idea that a super yacht is a big monohull, and we want to change their minds. We want to show them a catamaran, an electric one. So yeah, exciting times ahead of us. Yeah, and I think it's time to say thank you. Thank you for listening to our presentation, to a little conversation about green boating. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Artur. Thank you, Nicolas. Great job. Outstanding. Some spectacular photographs. Wow. Well, not only are they wonderful to look at, they're relaxing. You could just like see yourself like enjoying the voyage as you.
Yeah, we've tested them a number of times. We can confirm.
You can confirm. I bet. So what wonderful work. Thank you for all that you're doing here for the industry, and it's kind of certainly setting the tone. I love the concept of the holistic view. And the whole concept of the 360 experience, 360-degree experience. I think, you know, because when you think of 360, you always think of, you know, panoramic, right? You go up and you kind of see everything. Where our One Business World offices are in New York, similar type experience on the World Trade Center, looking out over the harbor and all of Manhattan and Brooklyn, and the same thing here with your catamarans. The fact that you've got some pretty well connected ambassadors, I think, certainly is a plus on some of your existing equipment and voyages. But I just, the whole concept of holistic is wonderful, and I love the fact that you said your phrase. You said above and below the waterline, right? So not just forgetting whether it's the paint underneath, the batteries, the air conditioning, the propulsion systems. What a wonderful concept for that as you go through. How about from just from an experience standpoint, as you're customizing and building these, what's the average turnaround time on a construction of something like this with that whole holistic type of green approach?
The building time, you mean? Yeah, it depends really of the size of the boat, but 80 foot, the one you've seen on the first part of the video, it's around 10 to 12 months to build from the start to the end. Of course, that's a boat that we already have designed, that we have the drawing and something like that. But for the superior, the last one you saw, the big one, then there is 1 year of study, to make really all working, the talk with the class, the flag, the captain, the owner representative, the owner designing the interior, because everything is custom made. We have as well a lot of eco product inside the boat, some eco composite and so on. And here we have to count at least, like I would say, 3 years in total. So 1 year of the study and 2 years of the build, but that's like completely a one-off project.
Wow, a lot of collaboration goes into this, certainly with the ownership interest in the yachts, I would imagine.
Yeah, a lot of them. Like not later than yesterday, one of the two owners of the 43-meter got at his house a full package of interior design with material selection. Actually, it's a US customer, so we had to send over all of the sample, all of the ID, and the meeting was very positive. And as well, he used a lot of eco product inside the boat as well.
As you talk to, say, the super yacht group, generally receptive to the whole holistic concept? I mean, again, you talk about walking the marina and seeing the old gas guzzlers and things like that. I mean, do you find the clientele open, receptive? Do they love the ideas, the design? How much arm twisting does it take?
No, the things when we started, it was, I think, 5 years ago, we've launched the first eco boat. And 2 years ago, I say, yeah, in 5 years, I want to have something like 50% of the production. We're only 2 years after, and we have already more than 50%. Wow. So the reception is really, really big. And even it happened for the last year where customer purchased a normal boat, like a diesel boat, and they tried, because they went to the shipyard to make some selection, and there was, for example, one of the eco boat in the water, and they tried the eco boat, and we had 3 customers switching from the diesel boat to the eco boat because they were maybe not convinced, not seeing the product. But as soon as the customer just tests the product, and when you see the difference in comfort and all what is the advantage of having the eco boat, then there is no really question. Yes.
And any challenges do you guys see going forward? Is it sourcing materials, supply chain, anything like that, regulations, whatever the case may be?
Yeah, I mean, there is new regulation coming, but it's very slow. And I think we are already like 10 years in advance, and we want to keep the advantage of being always the first, because we are not only willing to be first, but we are really eco-responsible, and that's the reason why we want to go much faster than what the norms is telling us. Supply chain, I mean, the worst was with the COVID time. So right now we're a bit used to order things a bit in advance. So I would say that right now it's everything under control. We passed the worst time that we had like 2 years ago.
Well, a sustainable mindset is always so important in business, and we see that in numerous industries, and it's wonderful. It's really wonderful as you guys advance that here and continue to produce and do such wonderful work in the yachting industry as well. So outstanding work. Thank you both for joining us today, everybody. Nicolas Lapp and Artur Połoczański from our friends here at Sunroof Yachts. What a wonderful presentation. Thanks for all the good that you're doing, and please stay in touch with us. Let us know how we can be helpful, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Take good care. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Bye.